5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
श्रीवर्चस्वमायुष्यम् आरोग्यं माविदाक्षं मानं महीयते धनं धान्यं पशुं बहु कीर्तिलाभं बहु धनलाभं शतसंवत्सरं दीर्घमायुः.
Honestly, I felt inspired and motivated after reading The Journey of Perseverance. This is certainly a book worth reading. Congratulations, Priya. You did an amazing job.
Hi, I'm Lavanya. The book, Journey of Perseverance, is highly motivating and inspiring. It gave me a clear picture about what success looks like. Congratulations, Priya ma'am, and thank you for a great book.
Hello. Welcome everyone. This is the Global Empowerment Summit and here we are on the 5th week. Can you imagine we already did 200 live sessions and I was delivering it from my living room. Hi Jaga, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Andrea?
I'm really good. Enjoying the afternoon with you, and I'm really happy to have everyone here who is watching. And if you are joining in, please let us know where you are tuning in from. We are here for you. We are empowering you. We are giving you ideas. We are giving you knowledge, all for free, just to lift you up in this unprecedented times. And today we are here with Jagat talking about something very specific and super close to my heart, because I'm all about activation, all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk, right? So, Jaga, why did you choose this topic today?
Well, this topic, but first of all, Andrea, I'd like to thank you for this session. And thanks for this opportunity again. Nice to join your team here again for the second year. And I just heard you saying 200 session over 5 weeks. It's only one word to describe that: crazy. Okay. and and we need crazy things happening. We need crazy people, because I think people are going into a mode of being too careful at times. Yeah, you need to be cautious about in terms of health, I guess, but I guess you need to also have that openness to other things and not being so cautious to the point you're not even trying something new or what. So the reason why I picked this topic is because this topic is actually the topic of my upcoming book. I'm in the process of writing, so I'm going to give the glimpse of what the book is going to be like, and making a commitment here. So I have to finish the book right now. So
yes, you already said it. I will be the proof that you have to do it.
Right. Okay. Now somebody is going to be on my back right now to finish the book. So the whole idea of Explorer is it's basically it's a personal journey as well, because I personally struggled with structured approaches for many years, and all the management books and all that talks about structured approach and structured way. You got to be clear. You got to have written down goals, and you must have your 5-year plan, 10-year plan. And also throughout my life, I've always believed in that kind of structure. And after one point, I felt like I was not flowing. There was something just blocking, something just not. It's not me. I'm just pretending to be somebody, just to be accepted in the norms of the society and all that. It just didn't go well at all. So what happened was, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to let myself flow in whichever direction it happens, and I'm just gonna go in that flow, and let's see what happens. So that took a turn somewhere about 6 years right now, and it has been that flow. And this book, or this topic about explorer's mindset, is all about that. It's about that journey, and I think what people should be doing to come out of the confines of a settler and go out as an explorer.
I love this as a challenge taking person myself. I love to go out of the comfort zone and just go out, be someone who is out of the box, and doing out of the box things makes you so much more feeling alive, although it brings some stress, although it brings some hard things, and it's a hard work, I have to say. But once you did this, you will get addicted to this feeling of going for it, and working on it, and being on the flow, and working on it every single day when you wake up, without anyone behind you just pushing you, because you will be pushed by your own incentives. So Jega, before we go further on this, let us get to know you a little bit better. Explain who is Jega, where are you coming from, what's your purpose, and what's your favorite food?
Okay, my full name is Jagadishwaran Manoharan. That's a mouthful for many people around the world. All right, so they're going to call me Jega. So Jega is my name, and everyone knows me as Jega. I'm a management trainer, management consultant, and also a game and simulation designer. So let me just explain what that game and simulation designer is. That most corporate training today have many processes over there. You have a facilitation process. Some have a quasi coaching process. You have a storytelling method, and you have so many methods. One other method is actually using games or game-based learning and simulation. The only difference is that a lot of people use games and simulation. In my case is that I design games, I design business simulations for certain outcomes. So if a client has a particular situation with their team, and they say that, hey, you know what, this is the situation is going on, I want my guys to turn things around and look at things a little differently. So we take an approach of not actually lecturing it to them, but let's create a business simulation or a game which goes on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, or even 3 hours. But through that game and simulation, they will start understanding that, yes, I think this doesn't work. We need to think a bit differently. And throughout our life, from childhood, people learn best through games. And I've just capitalized on that, and I'm using that as a core area of running workshops and improving team performance using games, using business simulation. So the journey of business simulation has been there at least for the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years perhaps. But actively, we went into proper design methodology and all that in 2015. So today, my company, Accordia Training, designs business simulations. We get called by clients when they have a problem and they are looking for a business simulation. If we have them, we use them. Otherwise, we will make them. That's what, in a nutshell.
Don't forget your favorite food.
Oh yeah, my favorite food. Okay. My favorite food is our local dish. To be specific, is my mom's prawn sambal. So I love prawns and I love sambal. So prawn sambal is my favorite, and my favorite fruit. I don't know how it's gonna go with you, but it goes well with most Malaysians. That's durian. Right?
I love it. I love it.
Oh, you
I
love it?
love
Okay, that's good.
Explorer's mindset. Don't forget.
That's right. Durian, if you put the durian in a bathtub, I'll be inside the bathtub. That's how much I'm crazy about durian. In Malay, they used to call this term called hantu durian. Durian is an extremist thing. You either hate it or you love it. Beyond anything, right? So I'm
That's
on the
true.
other.
I'm trying to convince all my European friends. Come, I know something. It's like so amazing. The taste is just like you have to taste it, and then they are like, oh. They don't want to taste it anymore. They're like, "What did you do, Andrea? I don't like this." And I was like, "Well, I love it. It's just amazing."
It's
So
like
let's
it's like
go.
it's
Yes.
like cheese to the French, say, like,
Oh,
or the Italians, right? So some cheese goes well there, and we are like, how in the world do you eat this? And when we take the durian, they ask the same question, how in the world do you eat this? So it's
yes, yes. I really love it. So we are going into the Raub and all the original places, where you can have the nice ones. So we really love it with my family. So Jaga, let's go further on the explorer's way of leadership and the explorer's mindset. Where should we start? Let's set the definition straight. What is an explorer's mindset or explorer's way?
okay. To understand that, you need a comparison to this. So there's two ways of thinking in terms of leading or leadership. Here is that one is called the explorer's mindset, another one is called the settler's mindset. So in order to understand what the explorer is, you need to first understand what the settler is. A settler is just like a settlement. When an explorer explores a certain place and then he finds his place, and then you form a settlement. So in a settlement, you need to have harmony. You need to have rules. You need to have conduct and all that. So there comes rules. There are boundaries. Everybody has to obey by this particular way of doing things. This is how we do it. You need to submit it by this time, and this is how we run a settlement. And the reason for that is so that the settlement is in order. Otherwise, you will have chaos in a settlement, and which is perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong about being a settler. In a lot of organizations and all that, you need that settler's mindset. Otherwise, things will go chaotic. Like imagine somebody not having a proper rules or standard operating procedure to produce a biscuit. Every biscuit is going to look different. So you need to have some level of control on that. But what is happening is that sometimes when we live in a settlement too long, you get too comfortable in a settlement, and then you get very cozy in the settlement, and you are bounded by the rules of the settlement, and you stop thinking, you stop exploring, you stop looking out. Why? Because the rule said so. No, the rule was not there to change you. The rule was there to keep the place in harmony, not to change you as a person. And the other opposite of this is what we call as the explorer's mindset. An explorer's mindset that looks at this thing like, what? This settlement is great, it's a nice thing, but I believe there's something better out there. So an explorer's mindset is about, let's go and look out what else is out there. But the problem is this: when you take the route of the explorer, a lot of the rules of the settlement will not apply to you. In fact, it will be dangerous if you were to do that. So, for example, in a settler's mindset, a settler has rules. This is how we do it. Why? Because that's what they said so. But in an explorer's mindset, there is nobody to say anything, right? You only have a guy who went before you, who leaves crumbs maybe, and you ask him which direction. Oh, you can go this way or you can go this way. Any way would not matter and all that. And that requires people to have a little bit of guts, a little bit of stepping outside the comfort zone and just say that, what, this is great, but let's go and explore something here. Let's go and look out for something new here. So if you look at a settler, works within boundaries. Why? Because the settlement has a boundary. But an explorer doesn't work around a boundary. An explorer looks at it at the end as a horizon, not a boundary. So if you look at it, a boundary is a fixed space. When you reach the boundary, you could actually literally see the boundary, and you know that if I cross this, is outside the boundary. But if you look at things as a horizon, you don't actually see the boundary. Where is the horizon? I mean, a horizon is a line, and the moment you reach there, you will see another horizon, and the reach there, you'll find another horizon. So a horizon is something that you are open to explore possibilities, and also that's the where you want to start from, the explorer's mindset and a settler's mindset. And my goal is how to take this and apply it in leadership, in leading teams, leading organizations, and to practically to lead life itself, to be away from the settlement.
And actually, if we just put the parallel here, it's exactly what has happened to humanity right now, right? Because we were in a very kind of settling, peaceful period, in the most peaceful period of humankind for the last few years. And people got into this convenient kind of like shallow water. And now when something is hitting the door and there is something that, oh, I am afraid something that is making the people to react, then they realize that they forget how to solve a problem, how to be more flexible, how to go there and not be afraid of starting something new. And kind of like they need this push to start something new in their lives. So it's very, very exciting that you're writing this book today and in this situation that is coming up, and it will change, I believe, a lot of people's mindset about life. So what do you think? How can people settle like this? Why people start to settle? Why do they get convenient? Why do we need this? Is it the survival instinct of the humans that is kind of like needed to grow for the people to feel in a little bit of fear, a little bit of threat, so that, oh, I have to do something to be protected, or what's behind this settling, slowing down?
All right, good question there. I think both of it, not only one. I think both of this thing about being a settler and being an explorer, it's deeply ingrained in our biology and our DNA. And you're right, settlers is about harmony. If you go on being an explorer, after one point you get tired and you want to settle down. So it's normal for people to actually find a settlement. At one point, they were explorers. I mean, look at any fresh graduate today, they are having a very strong explorer's mindset. They don't care what kind of job it is. I'm going to go there. The boss gives you a new system. Yes, I'm going to learn it. Why? Because I have nothing in my head, so I will learn anything you give me. I need this job. And they will be explorers. At one point, they start getting comfortable, and then they start getting a bit stable. And then what happens is that you are cursed with a housing loan and a car loan and this loan and that loan and all that. So that are just anchors. It's anchors and anchors, and people practically have poor money management, and everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses. Why? Because that's what you do in a settlement. In a settlement, you got nowhere else to go, so you will have to compare. Your biggest adventure is comparing with the guy neighbor to you. But once you're an explorer, your biggest adventure is what's next, right? So when you are with the community, the biggest explorer, the biggest adventure for them is to compare and to outdo the others. Without realizing, we end up running on a treadmill. You're running faster and faster and faster and faster, but you're in the same place. Like, oh yeah, you have a nice house, you have a $3 million home, but you're constantly worried that your job will be there. And you are probably the most vulnerable person. A guy who is making about 5,000 got no problem. If he loses this job, he knows he'll get another job. A person who is earning about 80,000, 100,000, 150,000 salary has a lot to worry about, and they'll be very, very careful. No risk. Why? I'm not going to lose this job and all that. And they start to become that kind of settler and settle in one place. So yes, it's a survival instinct. Being an explorer is also a survival instinct. And when do people explore? You put it very right. A lot of them were very comfortable, very okay. Yeah, I go to work, come back. Saturday, Friday, I go party and all that. Sunday, I rest it out. Monday, we're back to work, and the projects go on. Life was very much settled down. And then came something new. Suddenly, the settlement got destroyed. A flood came through. The houses got destroyed. So right now, you have no choice. You have to become an explorer. At least to rebuild the settlement, you need to have an explorer's mindset. But why is this so important today? Is because, especially in the business world, the landscape of business is constantly shifting and it's an unsettled landscape. It's going to be even worse. I mean, not to say worse as in like, if you have a settler's mindset, you will say it's worse. But if you have an explorer's mindset, you say, hey, bring it on. What's next? Let's figure out, something new. Let's look at it and explore that. And the landscape is going to shift very fast because of fintech. I think fintech is going to play a very big role. Finance technology is going to come in a big way. And with 5G coming in, I mean, you can't avoid it. People try to fight 5G or whatever it is. It's coming. It's coming. And what we need to do is that you can't run away from it, but we need to be prepared and put necessary governance in place and stuff like that. But I think what we need to do also understand how is this going to sweep into our space. So any industry today is going to be affected. The most safe form of industry was the banking industry. Next to the government job was the banking industry. If those days in Malaysia, if you can't get a government job and you get a job with a bank, your father-in-law and mother-in-law will be very happy. Oh, finally, my son-in-law, daughter-in-law got a job in the bank. Why? Bank was next to the government, and they paid well, good perks, good stability, and all that went well until about 1997 when the Asian financial crisis hit. And after that, the banking industry started shifting. And right now, working in a bank is very, very taxing, very stressful. There are targets and all you got to meet. But with fintech coming in the entire banking structure itself is being shaken up. Why? Because the guy who's going to compete with you is not another bank. It's a startup. It's a startup like Grab or like Touch and Go or something like that is coming into that space and getting into the financial transaction space. They found that there's more money in the transaction business than to keep the money inside the bank, and they're coming into that space and other. So the whole landscape is shifting. So if we are stuck in a settler's mindset, you find that you will not try anything new, because everything has to go through the risk department, the risk analysis and all that. And most of the risk analysis and all are based on old technology or old methodology of assessing risk. In the world where disruption is the name of the game, how are you going to assess some risk? You don't even know where the risk is going to come from. And for that, leaders need to adopt another way of managing things. It's just not a way of thinking, but also the way of how you manage your team and all. At one point, the smartest guy is the leader of the team. Right now, if you're the smartest guy in the team, I feel very sorry for the team, because number one is you're caught in this paradigm that I'm the smartest over here, therefore people need to come to me. I'm the Messiah, I'm here to show you the way, this is the light and all these things. And some of them are caught in some Messiah syndrome, and I'll explain that in a while. What is a Messiah syndrome? And but in a world where things are shifting, there are a lot of intelligence coming from the team itself, and we need to allow teams to operate that way. So the explorer's way of leadership is to allow teams to flourish, allow teams to come forth with idea. And the whole idea here is not about control, but about letting go. And letting go is one of the most difficult things for a leader who has led in a settlement. It's the most difficult thing for people to do.
I love this point. We are on the same page, because as a dancer, I'm doing the same, using dancing to activate people and try to make them do the steps. And it's really hard to encourage people and to, just let them go and just release that hand. And when you release the hand, they are doing it for a while. But after a few few weeks or a few sessions, they are like, Andrea, where are you? It's like, it needs a little bit of mindset change on the long term, like fitness trainers, I believe, that you need to have an accountability partner next to you, even if you have a business like Jega, for example, for games, and activate those teams as a leader, and be the person who lets this happen to you, and embraces this that, okay, I also need someone to tell me maybe better ideas than mine. Maybe the diverse team that I have will have more creativity than me alone as a person with one perspective, right? So then you have the whole team coming together, bringing all the ideas on the table if you create the right um, open environment where people are very open to share, and then together you will build something totally different, maybe like from the first idea, but it
Yeah.
will be something more diverse, and it's something more risky, something more curious, something more creative, right, Jeka?
Yeah, I've seen that happen I think, in dance choreography. And you always think that the guy in the front is choreographing the dance. Yes, that the guy in the front has a basic idea of the dance. But suddenly you will notice somebody does a funky move over there, and like everybody's like, hey, that's cool. And like, let's just incorporate that. Okay, how did you do that again? And incorporate it. And suddenly you find that the whole dance is just changing. And if you really compare it to what originally was envisioned by the choreographer or the dance master, and what turns out to be there, it's different. And that variety thing is what really creates that beauty in the final output, I see.
Yeah, the impromptu improvised thing, that people lost this kind of skill to improvise on the spot,
That's
to
right.
be problem solvers, and to just like, all right, this is the problem, how will I solve it? Not like, who should I ask? I cannot solve it, I cannot solve it, panic, 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 and then nothing happens, right?
I can find, like, I think what we should do with leaders is that, all this leadership training. Stop that. Stop all this leadership training
Yeah.
stuff. You know what you should do? Get your group of leaders, because you see, how much can we inspire you with leadership principles? I mean, honestly, what is that I'm going to tell you that you do not know yet? Like, you got to be empathetic to your team. Okay, right? Yeah. You got to have a vision. Okay. You have to allow people to make mistakes. Okay. But then all these are academic, very academic. You're learning it from the head. But until you go and join a drama team, and I mean, I've been in drama a long time ago, very, very long time ago. We used to put up plays and all that, when we were part of a spiritual organization. And some years back, my kids were involved in a stage performance. Okay, it was called the Sand Musical. It was a beautiful, beautiful stage show that was put out here. Very dedicated team, great performers, and they did a live performance. And they were still small, so they were involved in a child role over there. But when we went for that thing, one thing that you learn in a drama, or when you put up a stage show, is that you learn patience. You will learn patience. The patience of waiting. The patience of nothing is going to progress for the next 3 hours. You know, and for a corporate person, that's like, this is not productive. you know, Come on, why is this? Okay, all right,
What's
they
with
are
my
doing.
KPI?
Yeah, that's my KPI. Hey, okay, fine. You guys are doing this. Why don't the lighting team check the lighting and trying to get everything simultaneously and all that? And you go with that kind of attitude, they will look at you like you're some kind of alien. Get out of here. And I was involved, because I had to ferry them for their practice and all. And I'm just waiting there, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to put my phone aside and I'm just going to stay there and watch what's happening. And you start seeing characters, you start seeing people, and you start seeing that thing about why they do certain things in a certain way. And then you start realizing that if you slow down and observe, you gain a lot more than to rush through stuff and going through things and trying to get everything done, uh, which you think you have an impression that you have control, rather than just allowing it to happen. There's a story of this. It was this kung fu master. It was an old movie. I can't recall what movie it was. Where this kung fu master is there, and then another this disciple who's going to learn things, and he's talking about control. How do you have more control in life? And he said that, can you scoop the sand from the ground? And he scooped the sand, and he said that, okay, show me the sand. Okay, how much sand is there? Okay, that's how much sand is there. All right. Now the sand is trickling down. All right. Now grip that sand. Okay, do you feel you have control of the sand? No, the sand can drop out. Grip that sand and grip it so tight. Grip it so tight. Do you feel you have control of the sand? Yes, I have control of the sand. Now you open your hand. And you open the palm and say, how much sand is there compared to earlier? Much lesser. So the more you try to control something, the lesser you're going to be in control of things. Learn to let go. And today we need to learn to let go.
Love this, Jaga. We have to do so many things together. I'm just getting so inspired. I'm already changing the world with this thing, what you are creating and putting the things together. So let's talk further. I love this example. Hope the audience is with us, and you, if you have questions, please be active. Put on that explorer's mindset and the hat, and put your questions into the chat so that we can see that you are interested in the topic. Jaga, what was this Messiah mindset? Let's talk about that, because you wanted to explore a little bit further on this one, because I'm really, really curious about it.
All right, this Messiah mindset happens to some people who have been headhunted into an organization, especially those who've been earmarked and they brought them into the organization. So they come in with the thing that this Messiah mindset is like, this place was in ruins, and I have been brought in here to turn around this entire thing, and after this is going to be a totally different place because of my presence over here. It's like, that's a Messiah. Like everybody was lost there in the darkness, and you have brought the light thing. The challenge with this Messiah mindset is that they always have an assumption. And the assumption is that prior to their arrival, things were in the ruin. But if you look at it, that company has been around for a long time. That team has been around for a long time. Even if you look at a government agency, okay, probably one of the most inefficient offices out there could be a government agency. I'm not saying all government agencies. Many of them have much better than some private companies. I think they are so much more better in so many ways. But there are some government agencies which you hope that it will be better. And then a new leader comes in there. Now you may have an idea of putting things in place and turning this entire department around, but you have to understand, they have been there a long time. They've been keeping the country running for a long time. Things have been going well. It's not the best, but it has been going on. And if it was so bad, I mean, things would have gone really haywire. But everything has been going well. You look at a bank, for example, they say, oh, this place was in a mess. What was in a mess? The branch was still there. The bank was still there. The loans were still being given out. Collection was still being done. Not efficient, that's all. But it has always been there. So when you have the Messiah mindset, is that thinking that whatever has happened before this is bad and I am here to change everything. Now the challenge with that is that Messiah mindset has wasted a lot more money than anything. The reason is because they come in, what they do is they don't even check what was the right thing that these guys were doing. Some of these guys have figured out, it's in their DNA. They know how. We may not understand it, but they have a very efficient way of doing it. But you come in there, you just say, I'm going to change this entire thing. We're going to come up with a new program. And I'll give you an example. In one of the particular banks that we used to work for, a new head came into this particular department, and they had a leadership development program that has been rolled out and has been going well for about a year and a half. Okay, about a year and a half, yes. Suddenly, this person came in and looked at the whole plan and said, "Hey, no, this is not how you do program. We're going to change the whole thing." And then the team over there was like, "What do you mean, change the whole thing? Some of them are already in their last cohort. At least you need to let them finish whatever they started. If you go and change anything right now, they are not going to have faith in any development program that we come up with in the future." And they fought the leader out. That's a bunch of explorers over there. That is not fight as in like in a violent manner, but put your case forth and just say that, boss, this is not how it's going to be. You should at least, you can come up with a new one, but at least let those who have gone through finish it. Otherwise, we will lose credibility in what we are doing. Because in many organizations, what I find is some people come in there, they change the entire thing, and you know what? They get a job offer from another organization that is willing to pay 30-40% higher. They tender their resignation and go. What happens to the plan over here? $3-4 million just gone down the drain, and they are not being responsible. I've seen people who talk about talent retention program. Oh, we got to do talent retention program in our place, and all that. And you ask them, where were you before this? How long have you been here? 6 months. Where were you before this in this organization? How long? 2 years. Before that, another organization for 3 years. Before that, you're in another organization for 5 years. You can't even stay in your own organization. What are you talking about talent retention program for this organization? You see, this is the thing, I just find that people today don't think. I'm angry sometimes because I think people are just not hearing themselves out. You just check out, and I think it's an identity issue, and I don't think people are stupid. It's not about being stupid. It's being overly intelligent on one area that has given you very strong identity, that you are unable to harness your intelligence on other areas. That's all. They are not stupid people, they are very highly intelligent. But what happened was, through their journey, of their explorer's journey, they found a certain thing that really defines them. And that certain thing has become them and has become their settlement. And what happens is that they are so attached to it and they can't come out of it. And whenever anyone brings another idea and from other aspects, another team will you throw them in a new situation, they say like, they are afraid to let this go because this has been the definition. This has defined me so well, and I'm not willing to take the risk out of it.
Let me catch up with the audience. So Buki Janat is here. She's saying, learn to let go. What a powerful lesson from the movie. Thank you very much. I know Perthpal was watching. I know Jega is here. Jega is saying, I went through a cycle with a highly paid consultant until the organization downsized and gradually closed down. Yeah, well, these things happen. These things happen, and I believe we are the two of the people here who are getting angry about this with Jega. I have been working for a multinational company and have been through lean management, changing the lean mindset in the company, lean office, and so on, working very hard, training hundreds of people, and then same thing happened. They changed management and everything was like totally forgot about lean and well, guys, this is happening in the world, but the worst thing here is you are wasting manpower. You're wasting energy of many people. You're wasting a lot of money. You are really not saving money with all these things and restarting again and not following through with what you started and just rethinking the way how you do it, right? And the thing what Jaga is saying here is you have to, when you arrive to a new place, look around. And I remember Terry Gani was saying that people's ego is so strong today. That's what something that you also touched today, that the ego becomes something totally different. Like originally, the meaning of ego is like, I'm existing, I am here, this is me. But it's not attached to any positions, any professions, any certificates, any achievements that you are just grabbing and you want to be the best ever subject matter expert and you don't let it go. No matter what happens around you, the company collapses, but you are still the best subject matter expert. but this is not helping the company, right? So this kind of ego is not a good type of ego, right, Jega?
Yeah. That's the kind of ego that really uh, kills people, because ego is sometimes is good, because without ego we will not move further. You'll settle down. You will not have ambition and all that. So I guess it's a good thing, but once we get start attaching to it, um, it can be a vicious cycle, because it starts blinding. And one of the things that I've seen this happen is that the worst form of ego is what you call a spiritual ego. A spiritual ego is that when the ego is attached to a spiritual process, and that's even worse, because you know what? When the person is going through a spiritual process, they feel like I'm correct. How can I be wrong? In this journey. But then it's driven by ego, so it's blinded, and you're going downhill. It's very difficult to bring them up in that. So that ego has. I'm not saying the ego has to be broken or what, but what we need to do is, I think we need to start meeting and speaking to people outside our circle. It really helps a lot, because recently I mean, my wife and I, we made certain choices for ourselves, and those choices are not going well for some people. We need to manage ourselves because of those choices. And then we met some people who are in the same situation, and after that we start realizing, how do people who are in a marginalized community actually feels. That's when you start feeling, you're starting to feel the marginalized community. And when you go and talk to those kind of people, let's say they are from either it's because of ethnicity or economic background or what, and you go and talk to them, and now you hear their stories, and then you start realizing that, hey, you know what, I never knew this problem actually existed, because I'm always in my circle, in my group. And what I want is that for the younger generation, okay, we are talking about the young, the wise. Yeah, I think the younger generation, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to challenge the system if you find that the system is not helping you. Not everything that comes from people of my age or senior is all correct. The reason some of us are doing the way we are doing is because we are afraid. We are afraid to challenge. We do not know better. So the younger generation have the guts to actually go and tell something to your superior. If you have a better idea, go and tell that idea. So someone once in what do you call it? This was a GLC, a government link company, and these are the young executives, the young guys, the talent, about 300 of them. So this is a very big GLC here, 300 of young talents over there. And one of the questions they ask is that, what if I take an idea? I have an idea, I'm taking an idea, but my bosses are not wanting to change that idea, and they are still stuck to it. I tried it a few times, and then I gave up. After that, I don't feel like giving up or giving any more ideas. So my reply to that person was that, if you stopped, you will become like them when your age reaches, because that's what they did. They tried, they failed, they stopped, and they followed, and that's how everyone does. So if you are the younger generation, you need to change that. If an approach doesn't work, an idea doesn't work, it's not that the idea is bad, it's probably the approach and the timing is not right. And you need to have patience. That's one more thing I talked about the younger generation. Why I talked about going and joining dramas and all that. You learn patience, because the younger generation today want everything instant. I want it now, I want it to change things now and all that. Some things, to change something, takes a little bit of time. Let's take, for example, if you work for a company like TNB, our national electricity company, right? And you want to come up with a brand new idea. I'm going to change this thing. I've got a brand new idea how we can actually generate electricity and all. You really think that management is just going to say, oh, that's a brilliant idea, let's give it a shot? No problem. If it goes wrong, we will just have a national blackout. That's okay. We are explorers. It's not going to work that way. So you have to have compelling ideas. You need to have facts. You need to have figures. You need to put your proposal well, and you need to knock the door long enough. And sometimes certain things change very slowly. And the reason is this. See, the generation that we come from is, if we wanted to hear a song, we needed to buy a cassette, which I don't know whether some of them know what that is. It's this thing that has tape in it, And if you wanted a particular song, you had to forward, and you got to test it, forward, test it until you know where the song is. This was before compact disc, right? And if we don't have the tape or a CD, we were in a car trying to wait for that song. Driving. I remember that song called Wild Wild West. Will Smith. My
Oh
friend was,
yeah.
yeah, coming from Johor. I was studying in Johor. From Johor to KL, he was traveling. They're all in the car. They turn on the radio. You know what? After this is going to be the Wild Wild West. They're going to put the song Wild Wild West. Until he reached KL, the song was not played at all. So the friend dropped him at his house. The moment they dropped him at his house and they drove off, that song was played. Wild Wild West. So it was a 3-hour journey and the song was not played, and then finally the song was played. But today's generation don't even have that problem. You go into YouTube, the song is there. You go on to Spotify or any other platforms, the song is there. You get the song like that. Pay per view, on demand. You can watch something. Those days you had to wait to watch something. Now you can watch it on demand. What has happened is that all this on demand stuff has shaped a way of thinking where they need everything right now, right here. This is the time, I want it instantly. But you need to understand, no matter how fast the world has gone, no matter how much speed, with 5G coming in, the network, the bandwidth, and all that, no matter how much speed of progress happens, pregnancy is still 9 months. That has not changed. So there are certain things in our human system will not change, and you need to learn to have patience. You need to give time, and you need to develop that skill on how to convince people and explore opportunities. Keep exploring. Don't become a settler just because you're working for one. You can be working for a settler, but you can always have the explorer's mindset and start exploring uh, new opportunities. Don't stop from being an explorer.
And let me support Jaga's statement from the dancing perspective. When you're dancing with someone, for example, an Argentine tango, and in Argentine tango, you don't really know what the next step is. It's only the leader who knows what he will lead. It's totally improvised steps, right? So when you are doing that, you need attention, you have to listen, you have to respect the other person's intention. And then while you're waiting, you will figure out what's the move coming from the leader's perspective and what they want you to move to. And it's just the next step once you already listen to the other person, once you already wait for that intention, that you can add your decoration as a woman on it, so that together you are creating something totally different, which is becoming a product of your interaction. So this is something that is made in drama, in art, in martial arts, in any kind of form of art. So please do so. Any leaders, any new employees, do something that makes you understand what is patient, what is reward, what is real reward, what happens when you show up, right? What happens when you're actively participating in a conversation? What happens when you really connect with the person in front of you and see the other person's background, morning, mood, whatever has happened to them, and not coming from your perspective that everything was perfect today. So why are you moody, right? There are so many aspects, Jaga. I would love to talk like more than like 2 hours with you, but we have to go on. I'm so waiting for your book, and I will definitely come back to you, and we need to do some collaborations and merge the two things together, because that could be a powerful push
Yeah,
if we put the games together.
I would really love to have some group of leaders to go through a dance class. That would be good. You do something out of the norm, do it with your team, and I think you'll appreciate things differently rather than the same old way of doing things. Yeah.
Jaga is saying right on the point, 9 months will never change. Jasmine is sending some love, and Ravinder Gill is saying cassette and pencil. Yeah, we're close friends. Yeah, we were doing like in a Wild Wild West with the pencil and the cassette on
Yeah,
the
the pencil.
pencil.
Yes, Raj, yes, pencil. That's how you rewind. And you know
Oh,
what?
so many good memories.
Some people don't even understand what we are talking about. So if you don't understand, it's okay.
Yeah, guys, Google tape recorder and cassette, and then you will find it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, Jaga. It was an amazing session as always. I love what you do. Please keep on doing it, and please keep on inspiring others. Can't wait to have your book in the hand and promote it and send it out to people. And thank you very much for today's session. And also thank you for Jaga, Jasmine, Rajinder. I think Buki was here, and also Perpal tuning in a little bit. So thank you very much for watching us today.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for this opportunity. And you know what? Keep doing what you're doing. You're inspiring. You're creating very good content, and that's in cyberspace. And so I know somewhere somebody will one day want to get inspired, and they will listen to something, and because of that, something will change. And that's what explorers do. Explorers leave things behind for others to take, and you don't even know who is going to benefit, and you are actually being an explorer in that sense. And great, thank you so much for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jaka. So let's go and let's explore further. We have so many things coming up. We have Jürgen Bubek coming, then Salvatore Bruno, then we have Andreas Fogiazakis coming. So many amazing topics. We are here until night. So if you want to stay at the Global Empowerment Hub and get inspired and get some triggers to your mind to become an explorer, then this is the place to be. And I will just say goodbye to you, Jega, and have an amazing day, and continue with whatever you do. And thank you very much for today, for all those who are watching this session. See you very, very soon with Jürgen Bubek coming up. Bye, guys. Thank you.